Welcome to GameStorm channel, and my video is about Spider-Man 2. The story begins with Peter Parker starts his first day as a physics teacher at Brooklyn Visions Academy, with Miles Morales among his students, but they are interrupted by an attack by Flint Marko, requiring both of them to subdue him. Peter is fired for abandoning the class and returns to his Aunt May's home in Queens, which he has moved in following her death, to meet with his girlfriend Mary Jane Watson. They are surprised to see their old friend, Harry Osborn, who has miraculously recovered from his terminal illness. Harry offers to hire Peter to work at his new startup, the Emily May Foundation, so they can heal the world. Meanwhile, Miles tries to write his college application essay and learns that his mother, Rio, has begun dating. When Peter and Miles oversee a transfer of some of the raft's inmates, they witness an attack by Kraven the Hunter and his forces, who capture the Scorpion and Martin Lee. While investigating Kraven, Peter discovers he is capturing superpowered individuals to hunt them for sport. Having already killed Shocker, Scorpion, and Vulture, Kraven attempts to capture Felicia Hardy next, but Miles protects her and helps her escape to Paris. While visiting Coney Island in an attempt to reconnect, Peter, Mary Jane, and Harry witness Kraven's hunters attack the park to capture Tombstone. While rescuing civilians caught in the crossfire, Harry learns about Peter's double life and reveals he was cured by Curt Connors via an organic exosuit that physically augments his body. With his powers rapidly developing, Harry decides to help Peter rescue Tombstone, while Mary Jane discovers that Kraven has kidnapped Connors. The trio attempt to save Connors, but are unable to stop Kraven from forcibly turning him back into his lizard form. Connors escapes while Kraven mortally wounds Peter, though he is saved by Harry's exosuit, which transfers itself to his body. After Peter confronts Kraven with his newly enhanced powers, the latter develops an interest in hunting him personally. But before we continue, please subscribe and ring the bell and like and tell us your opinion about the video. Peter and Harry synthesize an antidote for Connors before the former tracks Connors down with Miles's help and eventually defeats and cures him. Upon seeing Peter wearing the exosuit, Connors explains that it is actually a sentient alien symbiote and warns him to destroy it, but Peter, under the symbiote's influence, refuses. Meanwhile, Kraven captures Miles and forces him to fight Lee to the death. Overcoming his anger towards Lee for killing his father, Jefferson Davis, Miles helps him escape and directs him to find Peter. Once Lee informs him of Miles's location, Peter arrives to rescue him and nearly kills Kraven before Miles intervenes and convinces Peter to remove the symbiote. Peter takes the symbiote to Oscorp to destroy it, but a desperate Harry, whose illness has returned, intercepts him and reclaims the symbiote, which transforms him into Venom. Venom escapes and battles Kraven, whom he overpowers and kills. Under the symbiote's influence, Harry decides to heal the world by infecting it with symbiotes, starting with New York. Venom infects Mary Jane with a symbiote, turning her into Scream. Peter fights Scream and is able to help Mary Jane break free from the symbiote. As Peter and Miles attempt to stop the symbiote invasion, the former is debilitated by a trace amount of Venom's symbiote still in him, but Miles and Lee help him tame it and convert it into the anti-Venom symbiote, granting Peter the ability to destroy other symbiotes. Meanwhile, Venom recovers the meteorite that originally brought him to Earth to enhance his powers and accelerate his invasion. Peter and Miles distract Venom while Mary Jane steals the meteorite and destroys it with the Emily May Foundation's particle accelerator, destroying Venom's spawn while Peter uses his anti-Venom suit to destroy Venom himself at Harry's insistence. This is when Spider-Man 2 is at its best, leaving you feeling overloaded and out of breath, your attention yanked in half a dozen directions at once, just like that of its titular heroes. It's also when the game reveals its strongest character of all, a more sprawling and revitalized recreation of New York City. Brooklyn and Queens have joined the map, with the water separating them from Manhattan free to surf across. Spider-Man can also fly now. A new wingsuit lets Peter and Miles glide for long stretches with a single button press. Air vents will shoot you up into the sky while wind tunnels propel you across vast distances, including the East River. It's a simple addition that makes traversing the urban playground feel revelatory all over again. In the aftermath, Harry is saved but rendered comatose, prompting an enraged Norman Osborn to order the G serum be used on him. Mary Jane quits her job at the Daily Bugle to run her own podcast and moves in with Peter, who decides to take a break from being Spider-Man to focus on rebuilding the Emily May Foundation, trusting Miles to protect the city as Spider-Man. In a mid-credit scene, Osborn visits and imprisoned Otto Octavius at the raft to demand the Spider-Man's secret identities, whom he blames for Harry's condition. Octavius refuses, taking glee in Osborn's suffering as he writes his final chapter. In a post-credit scene, Miles meets Rio's new boyfriend, Albert Moon, who introduces them to his daughter, Cindy. Building on the combat system of the previous titles, both Spider-Men are able to parry physical attacks, as certain enemy types are impervious to dodging. During traversal, both Peter and Miles' new suits come equipped with web wings, which, when deployed, allow them to glide across the city, with their speed and distance covered increasing when taking advantage of areas such as wind tunnels. Each Spider-Man's gadget wheel has been upgraded with additional equipable mods for their web shooters, such as being able to cast a web line across pillars for additional footing during stealth sequences suspended above enemies, and the web grabber, allowing multiple enemies to be pulled into an isolated spot for stealth takedowns, which can be performed on 2 enemies at once. In addition to Peter Parker's standard gameplay, he is playable when bonded to the Venom symbiote, granting him tendrils that he uses during combat and unique web-based abilities. Both Spider-Men have individual skill trees with additional unlockable abilities for both of them once they accumulate enough skill points in accordance with their experience level, as well as a third skill tree dedicated to shared abilities between them. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 presents players with a wider range of side quests, as well as ones that are not repetitive at all. Both Spider-Men get enough options that almost make up their own mini DLC stories inside of the base game. Additionally, the various collectible missions are more engaging and addictive to play compared to predecessors. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel.